Welcome to another episode of Driven By, conversation with entrepreneurs, change makers, and risk takers. Today, I am sitting down with...
What up? You already know it's Marcus Lowe.
Marcus, I'm so excited to have this conversation with you, mostly because you're somebody that I absolutely respect, but also you're just doing something so incredible right now, which is really launching something that I know you've been working on for a really long time, building for a really long time. But more importantly, you're somebody that's made a massive impact on my life, just with regards to helping me feel strong and feel confident in certain spaces that maybe I wouldn't have felt confident in before, which is the gym.
Right.
But I really want to maybe talk a little bit about how you got to this place you're in right now, which is an entrepreneur in the fitness space, and what brought you to this moment that we're in right now.
Oh man, that's a good intro. I'll have to say everything you said about me, definitely, that's a ditto, I guess is the word I'm gonna go with today. Got me in yoga, working on my down dog, one of my yoga senseis, so I appreciate you having me. How I got here, that's a long story. I mean, where do you want to start? From the beginning, or adulthood, childhood? What you want to do? How you want to do it?
Well, I mean, so let's talk. You've recently launched your own brand out into the world, but you've been working on it for a long time. You've been supporting folks and helping them through their fitness journeys for a while. Yeah. What kind of inspired you to get to that point?
Well, I got into fitness by accident, I would say. A lot of things, I've been blessed, I would say, to have people looking out for me at all stages of my life, and seeing my potential before I could see it.
Sure.
I'm sure we can all relate to that, but I've been fortunate enough to be thrust into positions by other people for my success. I can't claim any responsibility for most of the things, right? It's usually a strong woman telling me, you need to get this together. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thankful and I'm grateful for that. But as far as exercise, it's always been a part of my life. I grew up playing sports. Yeah. My dad's military, so I'm a military child, not a brat, military child. So he used to have us doing push-ups and commercials, things like that, things that dads do to haze their sons, I guess. And after school, just at the gym.
Yeah.
And just so happened I was working out, and a couple of the older ladies came and was like, "Are you a trainer?" I was like, "Nah, I'm not." Well, we want you to run a boot camp for us. Okay. Y'all paying? And so it's 6 older ladies, and there's yeah, we'll pay you to run a boot camp. I was like, all right, $20 a head, whatever the math is. Sound like a good idea. And I was nervous, to do it, because to me, it's just exercise. And going through this journey, I've learned that it's a lot for a lot of people. As you mentioned, I don't feel confident in the gym. I never understood that.
Right.
Because I didn't know anything else. Right. And I only stuck to the things that I was familiar with. I understand you come to the gym, it's I come to yoga. I'm going to go to the back. You know what I'm saying? Don't ask me to do nothing. I might be in child's pose half the time. But through interacting with them, I fell in love with seeing people grow. I would say that's what keeps me in the game. Right. And they let me be me. And that's the hardest thing to do for a lot of people, because I'm a certain taste. It could be bitter, it could be sweet, just depending on the hour of the day. But they allowed me to be myself and help and challenge them to grow, to do things that they didn't think that were possible. And so from there, just kind of went boot camp, got into Orange Theory, came out here after I left corporate, and here we are now. Yeah.
I mean, it's something that I think maybe... whatever. I'm not going to I won't give you too many compliments on this show, but
I mean, you can.
That's fine. But I do feel for one of the things that I think is a superpower of yours is you do not only make people feel stronger and more confident in these spaces, but you're also really good about building community. You bring people together in a really interesting way too, through your fitness and through small group classes and things like that. How natural was that for you, or was that something that you had to kind of hone in on, having only done exercise for yourself for a while?
Right. Thank you. Thank you for that. I don't even notice it. Yeah. Honestly, coaching for me, and I was on my way over here, I was listening to Britt's podcast with you, and he's like, something resonated. He was like, when I'm teaching yoga, I'm in a flow state. Yeah. I'm freestyling, and I really. That resonates with me very well. I'm the same way. You said, build a community. For me, it's why be in a space and not talk to people? Sure. That's weird to me. My mom's from the South. You walk in, you say hello. Yeah. You speak to everyone. So not doing that is weird to me. I have to try to not do that. But as far as build a community, I just think if you're going to be in a space with people, you should talk. You should know their name. And if that's uncomfortable, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's where the growth happens, right? That's what we tell everybody in every other scenario. Why isn't it applicable in the gym?
Right. Right. So looking back at like little Marcus, like the young Marcus, what did he want to be when he grew up?
NBA, of course.
Yeah.
5'5", 5'7" with shoes on. So that's out of the window. But honestly, after that dream was killed, I guess, or came back to reality, I'll say. I wanted to be a lawyer.
Oh.
Yeah, I wanted to be a lawyer. I did a couple of interns with a defense attorney back home in Alaska when we were up there in high school. So I wanted to be a lawyer. I wanted to go into law.
Yeah.
I love to argue. Like, if we're going to talk about it, let's talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's get into it. And so that was like right on my alley. I don't enjoy sitting in a classroom.
Right.
Like sitting still, it feels like a punishment. So that wasn't going to be the route that I went.
Right.
Fortunately, we found an alternative route, but that's what I want to be, a lawyer.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, like you can use a little bit of that in the gym too, negotiating with clients and so forth, right? That's amazing. So, can we talk a little bit about the lab, like, and where we are right now? Because, like, I know it's like a publicly launched thing now, which I'm loving every moment of it. But it really kind of started well before it was named and outwardly in there. I mean, you and I used to work out in the same spaces because I was working with BK and you were coaching folks at the same time. And like, you always called it the lab, right? It was always called the lab. It's a space where people are getting stronger. They're working on whatever fitness goals that they have. How did we kind of get to where we are right now?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I've been doing personal training on the side at the building. We call it the lab. Like growing up, the lab is where you go to get your stuff together, right? Like we were a hooper, we go to the lab. Like you got to go put some work in the lab. If you're in the music, get in the lab, get in the booth. Like so that's where we're going to get better. You know, whether it be mentally, physically, emotionally, whatever it is, we go to the lab, come back out. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's like Clark Kent going and becoming Superman. But we got here. So the lab is actually, it's an acronym, lifting and building.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, a lot of people don't. I didn't either. My brother told me. I didn't even know either. He's like, yeah, it stands lifting and building, right? I was like, nah, just the lab, bro. He's like, nah, it's got to be more than that. I was like, oh, it is now.
It's deeper.
Thank you. He said that when we launched like officially the first week. And so lifting each other up, lifting weights, obviously, building each other up, building a community, building our body, building our resiliency, right? And so that's what it's all about. So we've been doing it.
Right.
It's just we went public, I guess, in January when I separated from my previous place, right? It was a necessary thing. And honestly, I was going to retire from fitness after I separated, but thankfully people wouldn't let me.
Right.
It's not something I wanted to do. I'm grateful that I listen. I'm thankful that I listen, and people have told me to do it because it's a beautiful thing. And thankfully, the people are making it grow, right? Like we had a lady yesterday. She had the We the People. Yeah. She doesn't even do social media, but she's like, I want to help build the lab. I'm like, yo, please, this is y'all thing, man. All I do is program and talk trash. That's what I do. The rest is y'all. You know what I'm saying? And so we got here. We were training, then I had some availability. And I can't have 30 people in and out of my building if I want to stay there. So we started renting some space out. Shout out to Matt and me over at Flex. They're allowing us to rent some space out and allowing us to grow and really helping us build the brand. We got here, was training, was doing on the side. It had to go from a side hustle to the main hustle, and that's where we are now. Yeah,
I think one of the things that I like so much about the lab is the programming is very different from a lot of the other spaces that I move in and out of. Yeah. And I move out of plenty of fitness spaces in DC. It's challenging me in a really interesting way. It's forcing me to, pick up barbells where I normally would have just picked up dumbbells. Yeah. You're doing a lot of very mindful, I think, programming around how to help you understand which sides of your body are stronger. How do you strengthen the opposite side? I think that there's a lot of thought that goes into it, and I'm curious if you can just kind of share a little bit about your process without sharing too much about your process, how you think about your programming.
For sure, I try to approach workouts from what I do it. If I wouldn't do it, I wouldn't have you do it because my energy is not going to be the same. I typically do the workout before anybody else does. And if I don't, I do it after. So I kind of get the tweaks and thankfully we got Jihad on now so I can take Thursdays, right? And actually feel it. But the mindset for me goes from you need to warm your body. Yeah. We all have imbalances, right? That's life. So let's find them because that's how you get injured. Is you increase those imbalances. That's how you get injured. That's how you get hurt. And then you can't do that thing that you want to do, which is exercise and feel good. Right. So let's put that in, right? Warm up, let's use that as a warm up. We do core in the beginning because most people don't want to work on core. And we put it at the end when you're dead tired. Like, that doesn't make sense. The one thing that we probably need more than anything, we put at the end when we're already tired.
Right.
Let's do it in the beginning. Earn the other stuff, right? But also, like, some things I picked up from yoga practices, like, you have to prime the body, and it starts in the core, starts in the center. Makes sense when you say it, right? So that's why we start there. Mobility, core stability, then we move into the strength. Then we move into what we call the cash out.
Right.
It's the cardio. So it's built from, like, and again, you guys hit this in Britt's thing. It's like, you start, you warm up, you prime the body, you prep the body, you make sure that everything is right.
Yeah.
Movement prep so you don't get injured, right? Then you hit the work, then you cash out. That's your way out the thing. So that's how it's built. It's a total body every time, because I don't believe in, personally, Marcus, I'm not saying that it's wrong, isolating muscles. Your body doesn't move in isolation.
Right.
So why would we isolate?
Makes sense.
Exercise-wise, you know?
I understand.
For me, in the lab. Not knocking nobody. I know some people are going to hear this and make it a sound bite. I'm not saying that you can't. What I'm saying is my practice is, like, let's move the body as one.
Right. Yeah. And we're all waiting for you, by the way, to go through your yoga teacher training, because I know that you're like, you're yoga curious, very yoga curious. Yes. I can tell. And like, I do think that one of the things that I learned when I was going through my yoga teacher training is what you just shared about, like, how to be really thoughtful about your sequencing and kind of how to integrate and how to, like, move through the different parts of your body, your front, your sides, and, like, how to really get deep. And so, like, I hear what you're saying, and, like, the thoughtfulness that goes into programming a workout. I think sometimes some people don't really understand all the work that goes into that. And, like, I feel like I've had this conversation with anybody in fitness all the time, but, like, a lot of people think that we just show up and we just, like, do the thing as, like, instructors, and, like, it's not like that.
I wish it was.
It's we wish it was that easy. It's not. Like, we have to think about what it is that we're doing, because we're responsible for your bodies that are, like, coming into the room. And I've said this to you before, like, I'm always expressing, like, gratitude to, like, instructors, because I think, like, I know what goes into it. I wish more people would also spend time, like, hopefully, like, letting you know how important it is, that, like, what it is that you're doing for them. With what you're doing now and it being, like, your own thing, and you're kind of outside the realm of, like, any other brands, do you feel like it's changing, like, for you? Like, the whole concept of, like, fitness is changing for you? Do you feel it differently?
Yeah, I definitely think that being on my own, for lack of a better way to describe it, has opened my eyes to a lot of things. When you're consumed in anything, you kind of put your blinders on. Like, I'm a grind, right? I don't really pay attention to what y'all are doing over here. This is my space, and, like, now that it's all on me, and I need to connect with people that aren't in this space to expose them and also to learn. Like, that's why I'm yoga curious, because yoga's hard.
Say it one more time.
Yoga is hard. Like, I don't understand why people go in there thinking that they're going to just master yoga your first 100th time, right? Like, I appreciate things that provide challenge, because I think that's where you grow. And so being out on my own now, I have to step outside of my bubble. Like, when you're with a brand that's established, people come to your class. Like, they do the marketing for you. They fill your classes for the most part for you. I got to fill my class now. I got to expose it. I got to grow the brand. The feedback is on me. So yeah, it is changing the way I think, the way I see fitness, but it's also making me appreciate it a lot more. Because, as you just said, like, we don't appreciate the effort that goes into running a business or to providing you this class. And it's a lot that goes into making this hour class, 75-minute class, whatever it is, that we take for granted.
Right.
That we just think it happens. And so, like, to answer your question, hopefully, it's made me grow, which is what I'm about. I like to think I'm about, at least. And that's what I love about it. It's a daily challenge, mentally and physically. Right. Because it represents you. You know, you say, I'm surprised you don't have the lab shirt on. I was like, I thought about it. I should have had it, you know, but, like, the lab is me. Yeah. Right? Like, I'm synonymous with it now. And that was scary. That is scary today. Every day. I tell my mom, like, man, I hope we're around in July. You know, so that's been the biggest thing, is like, yo, you got to go get it.
Right. I know it's been it's still early on in the brand sort of, like, being recognized and established in DC. And I know you've been on this journey for a really long time. Have you had any, like, very distinct aha moments, like, as you've been going down this path, to, let's say, like, I'm doing this the right way, like, this is it?
Every day. I have an aha. I don't know if it's telling me I'm doing it the right way, but I definitely was like, I learned.
Yeah.
I would say every day is an aha moment right now, especially because it's like you said, it's early. We just started in January. It feels like 6 months. It's been 2.
Yeah.
Every day is like, somebody asked me, like, why don't you do this? I'm like, I never even thought about that. You know, like, what is your brand? Where's your page? Like, where's your website? All that's like, dang, that's important. I guess if it's important to you, you're asking, you know. For me, it's like, yo, just come and talk to me.
Right.
I'll tell you whatever you want to know. Hit me, slide in a DM. I'll tell you whatever you want to know about the lab, you know. And like, but every day I was like, well, we don't really know how to ask you. You know, you're not the most approachable person. Okay. So I think every day is an aha moment. But I would say the biggest one was probably High Rocks.
Yeah.
And like seeing people like, yo, I want a shirt.
Yeah.
You know, I want to come check out the lab. It's like, okay, we got some traction. We're doing something right. People are asking about it. Like, they're interested in it. They're noticing it. They're noticing it. And I would say that's the biggest thing. That was the biggest one.
And for people that are listening that have no idea what High Rocks is, it's this like big competition. I went as a cheering person, which is what I'll continue to do. I don't think that I'll ever participate. Honestly, it's not my bag. Maybe it is. I don't know.
It is.
Anyway, it probably is because I'm psychotic. And but it's this like massive day of events, and you can go as a single, you can go as a double, you can go as like a 4-person relay, whatever the case is. And it's hard. Like, it looks hard. But what's interesting is like all of the things that you're doing in a High Rocks competition, you've likely done in like a workout class. It's just the number of reps, like the amount of time, like, the number of times you have to run around in a circle, whatever it is.
Right.
It was really impressive to like watch you and everybody else participate in it. What I loved most, though, I was having my own little moments while I was watching and cheering people on, but it was seeing all these different people that I know train with all these different coaches, and there were so many coaches that were participating, right?
Yeah.
And there was a moment where I was like, oh my God, Marcus has like literally made a lot of these people stronger, or like whoever else that was a coach there. You've literally made these people believe that they can go ahead and do this thing. And so like, I'm glad you brought it up, because that had to have been an aha moment for you.
For sure. And like you said, like seeing the other coaches do it is big for our clients, our athletes, or however you refer to your people. Seeing you do the work, seeing you struggle, right? Like seeing you tired. They never see that, right? We're just talking. We're pushing them through it, and now you said you went as a cheer. Like, don't downplay that. That's important.
Yeah, my legs hurt. I was 10 hours on these feet.
Yeah, y'all was standing, but also like giving that energy to us, right? Like, that's important. Even though it may not show in our face, it's important to have that backing, right? That energy behind us, and like running around seeing like all the people you trained or interacted with, and like you said, it's accessible. Exercise is very simple, man. It's your jumping jacks are my jumping jacks, right? Your squats are my squats. We may jump at the top of the squat, you may not, right? But it's exercise is very simple and it's very accessible. And I say that you should do it, and anyone should do it, because it's going to challenge you, but it's also going to make you realize, like, I can do this hard stuff, right? And now you have a reason, or like you have something in your mind that you're exercising for or training for now, right? Like you said, it's running, it's pushing a sled, it's dragging a sled, it's carrying things. It's things you're going to do in classes, especially if you're in DC or any fitness class, you're going to do, but you're also going to do in life.
Yeah.
Right? Like, my mom got to drag me through life. You know what I'm saying? So she needs to do High Rocks. Get her weight up.
Yeah. No, yes. I mean, all of these moves are functional at the end of the day, right? Like, they're all things that you would probably need, like farmer's carries. I'm going to carry my groceries. Right. Anyway.
Yeah.
It's only a couple months in, but you've been down this path for a long time. We've said that, but my guess is you've experienced a number of challenges. I feel like I've maybe seen some of your challenges that you've had to go through, but then I know there's a lot that happens behind closed doors. What is like the biggest challenge you've had to overcome while going down this path?
Being the brand. I would say being a brand. As people, we're all growing. We all go through our things, and some of us have to go through things publicly. I say that's the hardest part. And when you are the brand, when you represent it, your things are kind of blown out of, they're on a bigger platform. I would say blown out of proportion, right? Like, so my mess ups are big and they affect people. Whereas if I worked in a cubicle, my mess up, no one would care. So I would say that's the hardest part, is like knowing that, like, Jihad told me actually when we started, he was like, you gotta tighten up now. I was like, what you mean? He's like, you can't be out here wilding, cussing people out and doing that stuff no more. I was like, yeah, that's real. I gotta watch it, and I'm gonna mess up. I'm gonna slip up, and I'm gonna have to apologize. But that part doesn't bother me. I would say that the hardest part was realizing that people care about what I'm saying. because for me, I'm just talking most of the time. I'm just living. But that sticks with people. Like you said, I have a I guess a gift of making people feel. And that's a dangerous thing. Like I can make you feel good. I can make you feel really bad without trying. So that has been the hardest part, is like trying to be more aware, being more cognizant of how I interact with people on a daily basis. Whereas before it didn't matter as much. So I would say that's the biggest challenge.
It's real.
Yeah.
I mean, when you are in fitness, and I had this conversation with Jonathan, who's from Bash, when you're in fitness, you're accessible. People like feel like they know you, even if they don't know you at all. Right. And they make assumptions about your life. They think that they can say things to you, and it's not it's not acceptable.
Right.
So it's a balancing act, and you're now taking it a step further, where this is your brand now. So this is your business. So it kind of heightens the stakes, if you will.
For sure. And like you said, in fitness, we are, like, people know us through Instagram or through class, and like, that's not me all the time. Like, people will see me out and I'm like, yo, what up? And I'm just like, I'm chilling, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that's Instagram, you know? Like, that's Instagram, that's class, it's a job. Like, you're not who you are at your job on your personal time. Neither are we.
Yeah.
We're humans just like y'all, you know? So, like, act accordingly.
Right.
Please.
Right. Please and thank you. If you were to think about one thing that drives you every single day, and you're somebody that's up early, you're somebody that like is staying busy, what is the one thing that drives you?
And I knew you were going to ask this, so I've been thinking about it, and I could not come up with one word. But I will. I will for you right now.
Thank you. You can expand on it if you need to.
Yeah, I would say the word is growth, but it's also, I would say, legacy. I wake up early because I lost a friend at a young age. And so I realized that it's not promised. For lack of a better description. It's not promised. I want to get to the day. You know, it's a privilege to be healthy. It's a privilege to wake up. I don't understand Sunday scaries, or thank God it's Friday. I don't understand that. Every day should be your Friday because you're living. Somebody's not today. And so I would say that's what drives me. Like, knowing that I could just easily not be here tomorrow, 10 years ago, whenever. So I don't want to take that for granted. So that's what keeps me going. And I would say growth, because if you're not growing, then what are you doing? Life isn't static. It's constantly changing. That's the only thing that's constant in the universe is change. So you're either going forward or you're going backward. I'm going to try to grow and go forward. I don't see the point in going backwards.
I love that. That's true. And I live in that world too, of like, tomorrow's never promised, right? When anytime you've lost somebody that's like close to you, it becomes like very aware of like, okay, well, why would I waste a day? Why would I waste a minute? Yeah.
Yeah. Take it personal.
Absolutely. Absolutely. When we think about the path that you're headed down and the life you've lived, like, what is one piece of advice that resonates with you that you would share with somebody else?
Do you.
Okay.
That's one thing Big Marcus, my dad, taught me. Do you. You are who you are. No one else is like that. And you're not going to be like no other man, because I'm a man, right? Like, you're not going to be like no other person. You got to do you. And that is a job. It's a daily job, because you have to first read your own book. You got to know yourself first before you do anything. And that is the hard work that people don't see, that a lot of us in the fitness space have to do. It's like, first, we got to get our stuff together. A lot of us come into this space because of, we become trainers because fitness saved our lives, or fitness has helped us. Exercise, body movement has helped us. But it took work to figure that out. And so do you is like, yo, who am I? Who is Marcus? Why do I believe what I believe? Was it given to me? Was I taught this from society or from family? Or is it truly my value?
Right.
And that's the hard stuff, right? Like, so I would say the piece of advice that's always stuck with me is, do you read your book and rewrite your book? If you have the chance to rewrite that page, rewrite it.
I love that. That's amazing. And also good for you for calling out the reason why a lot of us got into fitness to begin with. I think a lot of times, again, clients, athletes, whatever you want to call them, I do think that there's like this disconnect, right? They just think, oh, I don't know, you were like good at sports like when you were in school or whatever. So like now you're doing it now. Or like, oh, I don't know, you just like are strong, or like you're... no. Like, we did this because this is something that resonated for us, and like, we know the power of it. So like, how do we pay it forward? How do we show other people that opportunity to like find that growth or like become more in tune with themselves? So
sure, it's the foundation. What we do is the foundation of life.
Right. Right. Well, lovely. I know that you are building this brand. So if people want to like understand more about the lab, or they really want like some general idea of what they'd be getting themselves into, break it down. Like, what is the lab in terms of like, if you were pitching it to a like brand new person? I know you shared a little bit about the methodology behind it, but if you were just sharing it with like somebody on the street, they were like, oh, it's a lab. Yeah,
I would say that the lab is a 75-minute total body workout. We're creating a space and an environment. We don't care how strong you are. We don't care what your experience is. I do care about your energy that you bring into the room. That's it. Like, if you come with a good attitude, if you want to work, I want you there.
Right.
If you don't want to work, I don't want you there, and I will let you know that. And anybody that knows me knows that I will.
Yeah.
I have no qualms with that, because I think your energy can mess up our energy. And so the energy's got to be right if you come in. But 75-minute full body workout. We focus on strength and conditioning. That's inside the gym and outside the gym. Coming soon, some things that we're working on for the community as well. Because I believe, like you said, exercise is just the foundation. If that's 75 minutes of your day, what's the rest of the day look like?
Right.
And if we're lifting and building in here, we need to be lifting and building outside as well.
I love that. I'm excited. That's really, really exciting.
I'm nervous.
Oh, I'm excited. Well, and like, I'll reiterate, the energy makes the difference, especially because the workouts are challenging. And so if you don't have the right energy, if you're coming in and you're like doing too much of the other stuff, like, I also don't want you there, because I go and work out there.
That's what I'm saying.
It really makes a difference. It makes a difference for like a good workout. And I have really appreciated what you've been able to like build in such a short amount of time. But a lot of that's like a testament to you and like the energy that you bring to a space and what you have done creating a room of people that trust you and like have seen results and like want to support you. It's not just the workout's good. Like, people want to support you too. So I hope that you're seeing that and feeling that as well.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
I'm trying. I don't handle those things well. But yeah, you are absolutely right. It is the people. It's the Karens and, you know, the people that come to the class that support it, that tell their friends, that bring a friend, you know, that give feedback, that give valid feedback or honest feedback because they want to see you do better. It's truly a testament to them. You know, as well as if they say it's me, I say it's them. It's us. Yeah. And that's what the lab's about. It's not any one person, but one person can mess it up. Right. You know?
Right. Well, if people want to learn more or they want to sign up for classes or they want to like be a part of the experience, how do they find you?
This thing called Instagram is what I use. You can hit me up on Instagram, Marcus X Lowe, or the Lab DC, the Lab DC. Send us a message, come up, or hit up Karen. You know what I'm saying?
I'm happy to connect.
She's coming on Thursdays at noon. Come with her.
Yeah, perfect. Well, thank you for doing this. Thank you for having this conversation. I know that this has been an exciting journey, but it's also been like quite, it's challenging to launch your own brand anytime. And I'm just really impressed with what you've been able to create over time, but what you've been able to like put out really quickly. And I can't wait to see like what it is that you do next.
Nah, thank you for having me. And shout out to you for just this platform, this environment that you're doing as well. You know, like giving people the opportunity to speak and tell their stories and share. Shout out to you for that. I don't know if anybody ever tells you, thank you. No. So thank you for having me. Thank you for the opportunity.
Cool.